Federalism is a system of government in which power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. Usually, a federation has two levels of government. The central government of the entire country is responsible for subjects of common national interest. The governments at the level of states look after day-to-day administering of their state. Both these levels of governments enjoy their power independent of the other. Though only 25 of the world's 192 countries have federal political systems, their citizens make up 40% of the world's population. Most of the large countries of the world are federations. Let's observe the difference between federation and unitary government. Federations. There is at least two levels of government. The subunits agree to some rules of power sharing. The central government cannot order the state government to do something. State government has powers of its own for which it is not answerable to the central government. Unitary governments. Either there is only one level of government or the subunits are subordinate to the central government. The central government can pass on orders to the provincial or the local government. Principal power within the political system lies at the level of a national or central government. In Belgium, a federation, the power of the central government has been reduced and these powers has been given to regional governments that were no longer dependent on the central government. Sri Lanka has a unitary form of government where the national government has all the powers. Governments at different levels agree to rules of power sharing. An ideal federal system has both aspects, mutual trust and agreement to live together. There are two or more tiers of government. The federal system safeguards and promotes national unity and regional diversity. The fundamental provisions of the Constitution can be changed only with the consent of both the levels of government. Sources of revenue for each level of government are clearly specified to ensure its financial autonomy. Jurisdiction's existence and authority of each tier of government is specified and constitutionally guaranteed. Courts interpret the Constitution and act as an umpire if disputes arise between different levels of government. Each tier has its jurisdiction specified in matters of legislation, taxation, and administration. The balance of power between the central and the state government depends mainly on the historical context in which the federation was formed. In coming together, federations' independent states came together so that they could retain identity and increase their security. All the constituent states usually have equal power and are strong vis-à-vis the federal government. For example, the USA, Switzerland, and Australia. In holding together a federation, a large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government. The central government is more powerful than the states. Different constituent units of the federation may have unequal powers. For example, India, Spain, and Belgium. The Constitution declared India as a union of states. Although it did not use the word federation, the Indian Union is based on the principles of federalism. The 7 features of federalism apply to the provisions of the Indian Constitution. The Constitution originally provided for a two-tier system of government, the central government representing the Union of India and the state governments. Later, a third tier of federalism, panchayats and municipalities, was added. Each tier enjoys separate and specified jurisdiction. As per the Indian Constitution, there is a threefold distribution of legislative powers between the union government and the state governments. Thus, it contains three lists. The subjects that do not fall in any of the three lists are called residuary subjects. According to our Constitution, the union government has the power to legislate on these. Union list. Subjects of national importance on which union government alone can make laws. Defense, foreign affairs, banking, communications and currency. Concurrent list. Subjects of common interest on which both the union government and state governments can make laws. If there is a conflict, law made by union government will prevail. Police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation. State list. Subjects of state and local importance on which only state government can make laws, such as education, forest, trade unions, marriage, adoption and succession. India is a holding together kind of federation, and all the constituents do not have equal power. For example, Jammu and Kashmir enjoy a special status and has its own constitution. Some special privileges that are enjoyed by Jammu and Kashmir. Many provisions of the Indian Constitution are not applicable to the state without the approval of the State Assembly. Indians who are not permanent residents of this state cannot buy land or house here. Some small units of the Indian Union, which could neither be made into independent state or merged with other territories, enjoy very little power. The central government has special powers in running these areas or union territories. For example, Chandigarh, Lakshadweep, Delhi. This sharing of power between the union government and the state governments is basic to the structure of the Constitution. Any change to it has to be first passed by both the Houses of Parliament with at least two-thirds majority. Then it has to be ratified by the legislatures of at least half of the total states. The judiciary oversees the implementation of constitutional provisions and procedures. In case of any dispute about the division of powers, the High Courts and the Supreme Court make a decision. Federalism is successful in India because of democratic politics, which has ensured respect for diversity and desire for living together. Some examples are linguistic states, language policy, and restructuring the center-state relations. Linguistic states. Formation of linguistic states has made the country more united and easier to administer. Some states were also created to recognize differences based culture, ethnicity, or geography. Language policy. Our constitution identified Hindi as the official language, but in order to safeguard other languages, besides Hindi, there are 21 other languages that are recognized as scheduled languages by the Constitution. Restructuring the center-state relations. After 1990, There was a rise of regional political parties in many states in India. It was beginning of coalition government era at the center. This led to a culture of power sharing and respect for the autonomy of state governments. The Supreme Court also passed a major judgment that made it difficult for the central government to dismiss state governments in an arbitrary manner. The 1991 census of India recorded more than 1,500 distinct languages which people mentioned as their mother tongues. After grouping these languages under some major languages, there are 114 major languages. 22 languages are in the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution and are therefore called scheduled languages. Others are called non-scheduled languages. In a vast country like ours, where even the states are internally very diverse, we need decentralization of power and thus more than two tiers of government. There is a third tier of government called local government. In 1992, the Constitution was amended to make the third tier of democracy more powerful and effective. Constitutional provisions for local government. Constitutionally mandatory to hold regular elections to local government bodies. State governments share some powers and revenue with local government bodies. At least one-third of all positions are reserved for women. Rural local government is called Panchayat Raj. Each village or a group of villages has a Gram Panchayat. This is a council consisting of ward members or Panch and a president or Sarpanch. They are elected by adult population of the village. The Panchayat works under the overall supervision of the Gram Sabha, of which all the voters are members. The local government structure goes right up to the district level. In urban areas like towns, local government bodies are called municipalities. Big cities have municipal corporations. Both members of municipalities and municipal corporations are elected by people. Municipal chairperson is the political head of the municipality. Mayor is the political head of a municipal corporation. There are about 36 lakh elected representatives in the panchayats and municipalities, etc., all over the country. Constitutional status for local government has helped to deepen democracy in our country. It has also increased women's representation and voice in our democracy. Difficulties faced by local government are: Gram Sabhas are not held regularly. Most state governments have not transferred significant powers to the local governments, nor have they given adequate resources. In Porto Alegre in Brazil has set up a parallel organization operating alongside the municipal council, enabling local inhabitants to take real decisions for their city. The city is divided into sectors. In a sector meeting, anyone living in that area can participate. The budget of the city is discussed and proposed in these meetings, and the municipality takes a final decision about it. This method has ensured that the money cannot be spent only for the benefit of the colonies where rich people live. Buses now run to the poor colonies and builders cannot evict slum dwellers without resettling them. In our own country, a similar experiment has taken place in some areas in Kerala. Ordinary people have participated in making a plan for the development of their locality.